In this video, I'm gonna go through the process of swapping a small block Chevy and my loader. About why I'm swapping my engine is because this one got some bad rings in it, I think. And number two is my carb is leaking gas and I cannot find a kit to rebuild it, and I cannot came across a good carb to put on the engine. And third, you have point for the firing and I don't like that too much. And I came across a small block that was in town for sale, so got a good price on it and gonna swap it in the loader. Alright, so right now I'm gonna take the skidder and I'm gonna push the loader in the garage so I can start to work on the new swap. Alright, so the loader is in the garage and I make some measurement, and the inline 6 is about 8 inch longer than the small block. So we're gonna have to make some modification on the engine mounts. And yeah, so right now I'm gonna remove the panels and make some room to see what we got here. Pretty simple engine we got there. The only issue is that like we have that spacer or adapter, I can say, because probably that loader came with like a Detroit in it, like those 453 or 353. I don't know which one was in there, but I think that those loader came with that. And they put inline 6 at some point, and they had to put some adapters there. And yeah, like we're gonna have to remove the cooling system, probably gonna make a mess, and that's it. So everything gonna go away and this gonna go in. Alright, so everything is unhooked. The coolant system, the motor mounts, the wiring on the starter. Well, basically everything, the bell housing is ready to go out. So right now it's 2 a.m. So I'm gonna go to sleep and I'll come back tomorrow. Alright, I'm back at it. So I'm gonna try to move the engine to see if she can go out with everything I've done on it. Alright, so that's what I'm talking about. The bell housing, like, it's that the bolts are inside. So we gotta remove everything, and after that we can go remove the bolt there. Well, like if you're swapping in like a transmission, usually like you have those bolts that you can see without like having to go inside the bell housing. So that's what I'm gonna do right. Okay, so I'm done with the inline 6 bell housing and flywheel. So bell housing, adapter, flywheel, and the gear. But she's broken and I'm gonna repair this. And we got everything we need to put in the back of the Smallblock to be able to make the swap. Here's the two engines side by side. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is hook the engine on the chain block and figure out everything that needs to be done. I already know a couple of things. Okay, so AC compressor, we don't need it. Power steering pump, we don't need it. So we're gonna delete this. After that, we gotta remove the flex plate and put all our setup there. I'm not sure if the fuel pump's gonna be good because she have more fitting than the other one. We gotta put the fan on. Probably gonna wait that the engine is in the loader. And here that engine seems to add like a oil cooler. So I think you can delete this part and only have like the block to put the filter on. So I'm gonna have to delete this. After that, I'm gonna have to remove the motor mounts because that's not the one we're using. We are making one. And yeah, so I'm gonna tear it all apart and let's see. This is all what I've been removed from the engine. Look, way less charged with parts. Now we're gonna go and put all the bell housing setup. Alright, so the gear is on the flywheel and I repaired it. Every bolt are torqued down to the same spec, so it's gonna help balance it. Flywheel's going on the back of the engine. Well, I think we are having our first problem. The bell housing won't hook up with the exhaust manifold. So I thought about it a little bit and I think I'm gonna try to swap the exhaust manifold from left to right. So I'm gonna end up with the exhaust going out in the front instead of in the back. So that's gonna give me room to put the bell housing on. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very happy that I just thought about it and it worked. Because it's not really supposed to be like that, but I know that on demolition cars they make some kind of stuff with manifolds and headers, so it works. The headers is gonna be out in the front for now. So now let's go back to the bell housing. Alright, so bell housing is in place, manifold are swapped around, everything that was not necessary is deleted. So I think that the engine is quite ready to go in the loader, and all the little things that's gonna be left to do, I'm gonna be able to make them with the engine in the loader. So we're gonna put the small block in the loader now. Alright, so the engine is in. I just had to put like a ratchet strap to make them at the same height on the transmission. Well, and I'm just gonna continue to work my way towards the transmission, make sure everything lines up good, we don't break anything, and I'm gonna bolt the bell housing to the transmission. Alright guys, so the engine is in the loader and everything on the bell housing and the motor mounts in the front are hooked up. Next it's like the cooling system. Since the engine is 8" shorter, I'm gonna have to put some new hose, and the front motor mounts need to go there, so we're gonna have to modify this, and starter, alternator, all the wiring, and the fuel pump, the distributor. So that's gonna be next for the engine, and after that, well, we can try to start it. So right now it's like 1 a.m. so tomorrow. Alright guys, so I'm back at it today, and I passed the majority of my day searching for parts in town, and I came across a shroud and a new fan, because that's the fan of the inline 6 and she's bent and not the same bolt pattern. And now we have a 7 blade with 3-inch spacers and a shroud, and we're gonna have to cut and make an extension since the engine is more in the front of the loader. Alright, so the hoses are done. Now I'm gonna work on the engine mount since I still have place and the shroud is not there. Alright guys, so the motor mounts are in. I need to weld. I already have some piece to put some like little support there, and I don't weld in the shop because I have the sawmill and I don't want to catch on fire. So I'm gonna wait that the loader is outside, but now I don't have the chain block anymore. So I'm gonna make some work on the fan and just like the finish up of the engine. So let's go. Alright, so I did a little bit of things everywhere on the engine, and I look up everything that need to be done to have that engine ready to run, and I made a list. So we have 4 missing spark wire, starter wire, oil pressure gauge, temp gauge, fuel pump, hoses missing, heater core fitting for the water pump there. We have the carb vacuum lines that need to be capped, alternator wire, the shroud for the fan, weld the motor mounts, the exhaust, and oil filter, oil press stone, accelerator cable, and the cap distributor, all the finish up that need to be done on it. So I write it down because I'm not sure if I'm gonna work back on that loader anytime soon. I hope so, but that's the time I had this week. So I write down everything. I might have to get the loader outside. So that's it for tonight. And tomorrow I'm gonna get the loader outside and start to work and finish the rest outside. Okay, so right now I'm going through the list and I'm making all the finish on the engine, and after that I'm gonna pull it out of the garage and try to start it for the first time. Alright, so I'm just gonna make a quick test to see if everything is right before I pour down gas in the carb. Alright, so I made some tests, and when I bought the engine, the distributor was not there, and they rotated the crank, so we are not timed like with the balancer and all the piston. So right now I'm putting my distributor back in the right place, so we have the good fire on the spark plug. Alright guys, so last night I made the very first start of the engine. She seems to run not bad, but she needs some timing, and I gonna time it with the timing light, but well, she's a runner. So today I just like quickly put the shroud and ran some wires to the switch inside, so I can just like quickly test drive it, because I don't have exhaust and we have a lot of fire going out of there. So I'm just gonna do a quick like test run. Alright guys, so my goal is achieved with the process of the swap. The loader ran on his own power, and he for sure gonna need some timing and, you know, just like some finish up on the engine, some exhaust and some gauge and new wiring, because the old one is completely done. But I think that we have like a good base engine to make some work with the loader at the sawmill and on my land. So yeah, basically I'm super happy with it, and that's the end of the video. If you watch it till the end, I really appreciate it. It took me a couple of hours to make that engine swap. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I have a lot of project. I have the 6.2, the square body, and a lot of truck. I bought a 6.5. I have the other square body, some heavy equipment. So I'm gonna make, for sure I'm gonna make others video. I don't know when, but they're for sure gonna come up. And yeah, basically this one is done, and hope to see you on the next one. Thanks.